Everybody, welcome to Sports Talk. Um, so this is going to be a quick thing that I just decided to throw together because I've been going back and forth for the past couple of weeks with a couple people on Facebook about the University of Central Florida. I'm going to have to say this. I highly disagree with UCF kind of proclaiming themselves as the college football national champions based on the fact that yes they went 13-0 and yes they did beat Auburn in the regular season or in the Peach Bowl I believe it was. I just don't think that's enough to proclaim yourself as a national championship based on the reason that your schedule was horrible. The only teams you did play, excluding Auburn in the Peach Bowl, was I think like you guys played Memphis or something, who's ranked probably 19 or something in the final rankings or the final polls. They ranked number 19. Other than that, you played nobody. Nobody on your schedule was ranked in the top 25, other than the Auburn that you finally beat in the end. So my opinion is, if you want to be if you want to be in the talk of being a national championship, then make a better regular season schedule. Other than playing teams like Maine, no disrespect to Maine, but they just don't have the recruits to be able to compete with the UCF. You're playing like I think they played like a SMU. I think they played the other couple of teams that like Cincinnati was another team on their schedule. So a bunch of teams that are kind of continuing to try to build programs and things like that. They played nobody. So to say that, well, because we win 13, congratulations by that. It's a tough thing to do. A lot of teams aren't able to do that. Um, but again, if you take a team like Auburn or you take a team like a Clemson or an Alabama, and then they fill their whole schedule with a bunch of cupcakes, then they're gonna go 13-0 every season, every year because of scheduling cupcakes. And then what do you do now? You make the playoffs a 16 team playoff system because nobody's scheduling to play anybody anymore. So again, if you want to play with the big dogs, then you got to play the big dogs. And just because, like I said, I can only base it off an opinion in terms of how Auburn felt playing in the Peach Bowl, but I can probably just assume, I can only assume that Auburn did not want to play in the Peach Bowl. Auburn wanted to be in a national championship game, and once you kind of get your whole season deflated and you have to go and play in what's today, back in the day, Peach Bowl was a pretty good bowl to be in because it was close to New Year's or after New Year's or whatever the case may be, and if you got that bid, then you were happy about that. But now with the whole playoff system, a lot of people aren't happy with these second tier bowls. If you're not in a national championship playoff bid, then all those other bowls don't really matter, which is why you see a lot of these players kind of opting out of these regular bowls to get ready for the National Football League. But you would never see a kid opt out of playing in the college championship playoff because, again, that means more to them. So, again, we can argue that back and forth. But, again, it's my opinion that UCF, I mean, great. You can create I think that it's more because they want to create a buzz for their school. They want to get people talking about it. They want to keep, keep their names out there. And if they want to kind of, proclaim themselves as the college national football championship, then hey, that's all power to you. Do what you feel. Your ass had a great season. Again, going 13-0 is something that's difficult no matter what level of football you play on, no matter who you play, because sometimes it is just like that's like it happened on to them when they beat Auburn. Any given Saturday or any given Sunday, anybody could beat anybody sometimes if you have a decent team. But again, if you want to call yourselves the national champions, you know that's that's well within your right, I guess. But again, to me, the national championship will be dubbed when the playoff teams get done playing. And again, if you want to be put in that conversation when you guys come out with your schedule, or when you choose a schedule at least one or two more top 25 teams. You know what I mean? Schedule one of these tough conferences instead of going out and getting you a Maine. Who knows? Had you had done that in the beginning of this or the year prior, if you knew that you're going to have a good class coming through, and you would have scheduled some of these top teams and you'd have beat them, then you might be one of the top teams one of the 4 teams in the playoff. Just that simple. So don't get upset now that you decided to play the Maines and the SMUs and teams like that and the Cincinnatis. Don't get mad now when you get left out of the conversation when you go 13-0. Try going 13-0 when you're playing these top teams in the country. And we all know who the top teams every year are in the country, and who most likely for the next few years until you get another team who decides to finally step up. Those teams are always going to be in that top 4, top 5. There's always going to be somebody left out, and there's always going to be somebody complaining about how they should have got in every single year. So unless you extend the season on, which that will never happen, unless you get rid of some of these other bowls, which will never happen because there's too much money involved, then you're always going to have this conversation that, well, this team should have got in because of this. It's probably going to be another team next year that goes undefeated that plays, University of South Dakota or something, and they beat them, and played North Dakota, University of North Dakota next, and they run the table and all of a sudden say, well, we went undefeated, so therefore we should be in the conversation of the national championship. That's not the case. If you want to be there for the last time, if you want to be there in the end, then you got to play the big dogs in the beginning. Again, if you have comments, which I know some of y'all will, don't hesitate to comment, subscribe. Let's get this thing going. Let's keep the conversation rolling. All right, y'all have a blessed week.